Ladies and gentlemen, this is Salvador from Wrestle, and I am absolutely fired up right now. How does Roman Reigns, the so-called tribal chief, have the nerve to walk around like he runs the entire WWE universe, showing zero respect to legends and fans? But tonight, justice came knocking loud and clear when CM Punk completely shut him down in the most raw, emotional face-to-face moment we've witnessed in years. CM Punk didn't just speak, he shut down the head of the table, putting his ego on full display for the whole world to see and lighting a fire that is heading straight for WrestleMania 42. If this doesn't get your blood pumping and your heart pounding, you might not be a true wrestling fan. Stay with us because we're going deep into every hot word, every icy stare, and why this might just be the beginning of the end for Roman's iron grip on WWE. Share this if you're riding with Punk, drop your thoughts in the comments, and let's blow up the internet together. Alright folks, let's paint the full picture here. Roman Reigns has been sitting on top of WWE like an unmovable rock for what feels like forever. Since he made his shocking return at SummerSlam 2020, he has built what seems like an unstoppable empire called the Bloodline. With Paul Heyman by his side as his advisor, and family members like the Usos and Solo Sikoa always in his corner, Roman has held the Universal Championship, now known as the undisputed WWE Universal Championship, for over 1,300 days. That is actually longer than Hulk Hogan's legendary run back in the 80s. Hello viewers, if you are new here, please don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for daily WWE Raw updates. But here's what really gets under my skin. It is not just about the wins. It's about the way he keeps winning. Dirty finishes, mind tricks, and that self-satisfied "acknowledge me" phrase that gets shoved in our faces week after week. Fans have had enough. We've watched great talents like Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, and even The Rock himself try to knock him off the throne. Yet Roman always finds a way to sneak out on top. It is maddening. Is this professional wrestling or just a family business protecting their favorite son? Take a good look at Roman Reigns roaring in that ring, sweat pouring down his face, eyes wide with that forced intensity. That right there is the face of a man who has had doors open for him his entire career because of who his family is. The Anoa'i family name carries tremendous weight, from Afa and Sika all the way to Yokozuna and The Rock. But Roman, he has been riding that wave, and it was long past time for someone to say it out loud. Now here comes CM Punk, the straight-edge superstar, the voice of the voiceless. Punk's path is a complete flip side of Roman's story. He fought his way up from the independent scene through ECW and eventually became a 5-time world champion in WWE. Do you remember his pipe bomb promo back in 2011? He ripped the curtain wide open, calling out the company's politics, the unfair favoritism, and how guys like him were constantly held back while others got pushed to the front. Punk walked out of WWE in 2014 under a storm of controversy, tried his hand in UFC and AEW, and then his return at Survivor Series 2023, nothing short of electric. The crowd went absolutely wild. Since that return, Punk has been on a serious roll, capturing the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 41 by beating Drew McIntyre in a bruising fight. He's not just back, he's sharper, calmer, and 10 times more dangerous with a microphone. So what makes this rivalry cut so deep? It goes beyond championship gold. It's two completely different worlds colliding. Roman stands for the system, for privilege passed down through bloodlines. Punk, he's the underdog's champion, the guy who always fights for those being overlooked. Talk of a dream match at WrestleMania 42 has been floating around for months, but nobody saw it catching fire this fast on Raw. Let's go back to the build-up. After Elimination Chamber, where Roman held onto his title against Sami Zayn in a finish clouded by bloodline interference, Punk grabbed a mic and called out the double standard. Roman, you've got your family watching your back, but what happens when you face someone who doesn't need a crew to prove they're the best? The tribal chief brushed it off with a laugh, but if you looked close enough, the cracks were already forming. Then came the final Raw before Fastlane. Roman opens the night, title resting on his shoulder, Paul Heyman pumping him up to the crowd. The fans boo without stopping, and they have every right to. Roman smirks and says, "Acknowledge your tribal chief," or "get out." But then, cult of personality hits. The whole building erupts as CM Punk walks down that ramp, his title belt shining, eyes fixed on Roman like laser beams. No slow build, it's instant electricity. They stand face to face, mics raised, and what comes next is nothing short of incredible. Pure fire. Roman opens up. "Punk, you really think you can stroll back in here after being gone for years and challenge me? You're old news. Acknowledge me, or I'll make you."
The crowd drowns him out with CM Punk chants. Punk flashes that trademark smirk and fires right back. Acknowledge you? For what exactly, Roman? For hiding behind your family every single match? For letting Paul Heyman speak for you? No, I acknowledge the real you. The guy who only has this spot because of his last name. Without the Anoa'i name, you'd be fighting for a spot in the middle of the card. The place gasps. Roman's face tightens with rage. He snaps back. You talk a lot for someone who ran away when things got hard. I built this empire from the ground up. You're just bitter because you could never hold on to the top. Punk steps in even closer, Mike nearly brushing Roman's face. Bitter? You show up once a month and act like you carry this whole company. Roman, I have given blood for this business while you were getting the red carpet treatment. Remember 2014? I walked out because of guys exactly like you, the chosen few. But now I'm back to tear the whole thing down. At WrestleMania 42, I am not just coming for your title. I am putting an end to your whole fairy tale. Then it gets deeply personal, and I mean line-crossing personal. Roman goes after Punk's history of falling short. You failed in UFC, you failed in AEW, you're just chasing what used to be. Punk's eyes go cold, and he drops the real grenade. Failed? At least I stepped outside my comfort zone instead of coasting on my family's reputation. Speaking of family, how does it feel knowing your cousins are the ones actually carrying the load? That your father and uncles built a road you couldn't have paved yourself? I am going to shut you up, Roman, and bury your pride right alongside all the respect you never actually earned. The building is on absolute fire. Roman charges forward, but security jumps in to hold them apart. Heyman stands there with his mouth open. The crowd explodes with holy shit chants. This was not simple trash talk. Punk went straight for the jugular, hitting Roman right where it hurts the most, his pride in the bloodline. Roman screams, "You're gonna regret every word, Punk. At WrestleMania, I will make you kneel." But Punk gets the final say. Kneel? No, you'll be the one tapping out. The war starts right now. Mic drop. Lights out. Wow. Just thinking about that again gives me chills and gets me heated all over again. How can Roman carry himself with that level of arrogance? Drop your take in the comments. Team Punk or Team Reigns? Share this if you think Roman's time at the top is well overdue to end. Now let's dig into why this face-off spread across the internet so fast. First, it felt real. Punk has always had a gift for walking that fine line between what's a story and what's the truth. By bringing up Roman's family connections, he touched on something fans have been quietly frustrated about for years, the feeling that Roman's spot has been protected because of who he is related to. Punk, with his history of speaking against those in charge, becomes the voice for every fan who has felt the same way. It hits different because it feels genuine. Second, the timing is perfect. WrestleMania 42 is set for Las Vegas, the city built on high stakes, and this feud fits the setting like a glove. Picture the story growing, Punk rallying everyone who stands against the bloodline, maybe even joining forces with old rivals like Cody Rhodes or Kevin Rhodes. And here's a wild idea. What if Punk uncovers something from behind the curtain? Rumor has it he caught wind of Heyman plotting another crooked finish, but instead of running, Punk flips the whole plan by bringing in a shocking ally, maybe even The Rock, turning on Roman and tearing the family apart from the inside out. That would shake the entire wrestling world. Let's talk cold, hard numbers on Roman's run. Over 1,300 days as champion, with victories over Edge, John Cena, and Brock Lesnar. Absolute legends. But plenty of those wins came with an asterisk. Barriers getting speared through, cheap shots, the whole 9 yards. A lot of fans feel those tactics have taken some shine off the title itself. Now compare that to Punk's 434-day WWE Championship reign back in 2011 to 2013. Clean, hard-fought defenses against the likes of Chris Jericho, Daniel Bryan, and Ryback, mostly without backup. And his mic work? Generational. The pipe bomb literally helped inspire the creation of AEW. After the confrontation, social media went into a full meltdown. Twitter, now called X, had Punk silences Roman trending for hours straight. Fans flooded the timeline with memes of Roman's stunned face with captions like, "When the voice of the voiceless drops the truth." A poll on WWE's own website shows 68% of fans backing Punk to win at WrestleMania. Bloodline supporters still hold their ground though. He's the greatest of all time. He kept WWE alive through the pandemic. That's a fair point. But isn't it time for a new chapter? Let's map out what the road to WrestleMania might look like. At Fastlane, expect the Bloodline to jump Punk, only for an unlikely hero to make the save. Could AJ Styles, one of Punk's oldest rivals, step up to join forces? And there's something to read into with Punk's personal jabs. Rumors suggest Roman was genuinely rattled after the segment, storming backstage with real frustration. Is this all scripted, or is some of it bleeding into reality? That blurry line is exactly what makes pro wrestling so addictive. A little background on both men. CM Punk, born Phil Brooks, built his entire persona around the straight edge lifestyle. No drugs, no alcohol, rooted in a rough upbringing he has never shied away from. He uses his story to connect with and inspire fans. Roman Reigns, born Joe Anoa'i, comes from wrestling's most famous family, but has also faced real-life battles, including fighting leukemia not once but twice, something that deserves genuine respect. But in character, Roman's heel turn cranked his dominance all the way up, making him someone the crowd loves to hate and sometimes just loves. Picture the WrestleMania match itself. No disqualification, bloodline banned from ringside. Punk's go-to-sleep against Roman's Superman punch. The build-up could include Punk crashing SmackDown, Roman invading Raw. Personal stakes could climb even higher, but carefully handled because